Well, hello everybody. Today it's Saturday, and President AMLO is at the rural hospitals in Chihuahua, in the rural valley of Allende. And so I'm going to go ahead and translate today because I find that his weekends seem to be more personal. So I'm going to go ahead and translate this one. I'm going to go ahead and start.
Muchas gracias y muy buenos días a todos nuestros amigos
So
del país
hello
de
and very
Allende
good
que nos
day.
visitan de
Uh,
otros
we're
municipios
here
también.
visiting, and we've been visiting
Con su
other
permiso, señor presidente, hoy
municipalities.
quiero
So today, Mr.
iniciar
President, I want to
saludando y
initiate by
también felicitando,
salutating and
reconociendo el trabajo de los
congratulating and
médicos, de
recognizing
los
the
residentes, de los
work of
pasantes,
of
también de
the
los
workers,
paramédicos,
doctors,
de nuestras
workers,
queridísimas
paramedics,
enfermeras, de los que
nurses,
trabajan
beloved
acá en el
nurses,
hospital y
and those
también
that
en
are
las unidades
working in the
médicas rurales,
hospitals and in
también
the
quienes
rural
están en las
areas
brigadas
that are in the
que los
brigades.
acabamos de saludar
And
por
we've
allá.
just said
También
hello to them
saludar
over
con
there.
mucho
And I
afecto y
want to
respeto
say
a nuestras
hello
parteras, a
or
médicos
salutate
tradicionales que nos
our
ayudan
traditional
tanto y desde
medicine
luego al personal
doctors
administrativo de
and the
servicios generales,
administrative
conservación de
uh,
laboratorio,
people
rayos
and the
X, los
laboratories
compañeros
and
de acción
x-rays,
comunitaria, a las
community
voluntarias de
action
salud, a los
people,
jóvenes del CARA,
the
a
youth
los
of Gara,
jubilados desde luego
and
que
the
están
ones
por
that have
allá y además
retired,
decirles también
and also
que
to
sus
say
asuntos
uh,
estarán
that your matters will
atendidos
be attended
siempre
to,
en el
as
Seguro
always,
Social.
by the Social
Señor
Security.
Gobernador
Our
Javier Corral,
governor,
un
Javier
gusto
Corral,
siempre saludarlo.
it's always a
Después de
pleasure to
haber
say
convivido en
hello
el Senado esos
and to
años, hoy
have
nos
been
encontramos
in
otra
the
vez por
Senate for
acá.
that many years,
Y
and we find him
decirles
here again.
también
And
a
to
los
say
senadores,
also
diputados
to
que nos
the
acompañan,
senators
la
that
gente
are
de Canacintra,
accompany
a todas
us,
y a
and
todos,
all of
a la
you,
presidenta municipal
the
que
municipal
la tenemos
president
ahorita prestadita
that
ahí
we've got
en la
her borrowed
presidencia,
here
pero
for now
pronto
from the
volverá al
presidency,
hospital,
but soon
estoy
she'll be
seguro.
going to the hospital.
Decirles que
And to
nuestra
say to
tarea
you that
y
our
el encargo que tenemos
labor or
por parte
thing
del
that
presidente
we've
López
been
Obrador
charged with by the president,
consiste en acudir a los
it
lugares,
it
a
consists
retomar esa
of going
lógica
to the
política
places,
en donde
and not
de
that
manera lejana se intentaba
magic
solucionar las cosas.
politics where
La
they
idea
try to
ahora es
do it by
acudir,
being far.
acudir para poder
Now
conocer
it's
los
to
problemas,
go
escuchar a
and to
la
be able
gente,
to
hablar
listen to the
con las
problems and
personas a
be
las
able
que
to talk
servimos.
to the
Y
people
es la
that we're
única forma
serving.
que tenemos
And this is
para
the
poder
only way we
actuar
can
cuando
have
se quiere
to be able to
transformar
act
la
when
realidad,
you're trying
cuando
to
se quiere
transform
cambiar
a
el rumbo
reality,
de las
when you
cosas,
want to change
porque
the
de eso se
route
trata el trabajo
of
en materia de
things,
salud.
because
Cambiar
that
el
is
rumbo.
what
Cambiar el rumbo porque hay que reconocer que el
materials
rumbo que había
of
tomado
health
la política
have to
de
be dealt
salud en
with,
nuestro país y no era
to be
el
out
puesto
there
exento, el seguro
and
social,
to
era
accent
equivocado.
Social
Una
Security.
idea
An
neoliberal, el
idea that
neoliberalismo
was
sanitario,
neoliberal
que de manera
was
muy
that
fría, muy
a very
lejana,
cold and
muy
isolated
fragmentada,
ways
nos
and
tenía en una situación
fragmented
compleja.
way had left us in
Creemos
a
que las
very sad
reflexiones que hay que hacer
situation.
tienen un
We
objetivo, que
know
no se
that
olviden las
the
cosas
things we
para que
want to
no se
do
vuelvan
have
a
an
repetir.
objective,
Y hay
not
que
to
ver qué es lo
forget
que
these
pasó durante
things,
todos esos años
but to
y sobre
remember them so
todo
we
qué es lo
change
que
them.
hizo el
And what was
personal
done
de IMSS Bienestar
eh,
desde su nacimiento, como lo hizo
personally
proclamar,
IMSS
porque era siempre extraordinario que
Bienestar
actuaron de
did,
manera contraria, a
that they were
contracorriente de lo que
working
estaba
against the
pasando en
current
otros lados y en
as to
otros
what was
sistemas
happening
de
in
salud.
other systems and
Mientras
other
se
places,
establecía el
as it
dato
was
duro
being
es lo
establishing
único que hay
the
que tomar en cuenta, venerable,
data
el
that
dato
is
duro, la
available
estadística, lo único,
or
la realidad
statistics,
conocida desde
the
una pantalla de
only
computadora. ¿Ustedes qué
the
hicieron? Pues
reality.
acudieron a la dura realidad,
So what
la
you
enfrentaron, la
did
encararon,
was you
escucharon
confronted
a
it
la
and you
población y
listened to the
buscaron
people and you
soluciones.
looked for
Esa es la gran
solutions. And that is
diferencia
the great difference
entre un médico
between
de
a
bienestar
doctor
frente
that
a los directivos de
is
antes que
that used to be
simplemente se
under the
esperaban
directives
a que las
before.
cosas cada
They
vez
used to
empeoraran.
wait for things
La
to
otra
get
es
worse.
esta idea
But
que la
now the
salud
other thing
solamente es
that
ausencia de
health
enfermedad.
is
Y eso es
only
falso.
an
La salud es
absence.
mucho más. Sí es la salud física, pero es la
Yes,
salud
it's
social, la salud
physical
de los
health, but
pueblos, de
also the
las
social
comunidades.
health,
No esperar a
communities,
que venga ya nada más la
towns.
demanda, el paciente,
And
digamos,
let's
y
not
enfermo,
wait for the
sino atenderlo de
demand,
manera preventiva.
but to
Eso
do a
es el poder de
preventative
atención integral a
way
la salud.
and
Uno
to
le
involve
pone
health.
con la misma importancia que le
And you
damos a la
need
atención
to
médica, justo a la
give
acción
it
comunitaria. Por
the
eso, como
same
director del Seguro
attention to
Social,
health
de verdad
as
es
we
un
do the
orgullo poder
communities.
ejercer con acción
And I am
comunitaria, porque
very
lo que hacen los compañeros,
proud
y aquí
to
una
use
compañera que me da
this
gusto que
vest
cada
that
vez haya
says
más
I'm
mujeres
helping
en
the
acción
communities
comunitaria,
and
significa
always to
este
do the
trabajo que hacen por
community.
el
and that implies doing this work like for the past 40 years, and congratulations. And another element also that is important, this idea that decisions are taken from far and by a few. That's what our history has demonstrated, that you need to involve the society to take collective ideas, and that's the best way to do things in a correct way. I want to salutate the volunteers for health and let them stand, Socorro. They're 27 years, 24 years for Beatriz working with us. And they work, it doesn't mean they get a salary. They do it in a volunteer way because that is what their community asked her. It's the responsibility, the commitment she made. And we have to, that stands out. Citizens that do things that way because that's the way they manifest their responsibility and also their pride in being part of a community. And that's why we're happy to be here and to recognize the great value of this program and to recognize that you did things even though it was uncomfortable, not because it was easy, because you did it in a correct way. And Ames had a hypocrisy in the neoliberal period. But now what's making us so proud is that we are fighting corruption, and we want to fortify and exalt this program. And that is why, friends, here it is not good to fail. And when the president affirms his commitments, well, so and so died, so what are we going to say? We are like the eagle. I'm sorry, the chicken hawk, and we have to comply with our commitments and fulfill our commitments to the people. So I want to say goodbye saying that the fourth transformation in the area of health has a very clear route, and it is going in that route with that great future, and that this new this history will count. And that's why I want to say to Ignacio Allende, who was the one that gave the name to this place, and he said something I would never forget, without mattering the size of the city or the place that the people are born. That's where they grow and help their people. The community of Ins Buenestar is there for the people, and we'll do it from our coming out without just being in our offices. Ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to the message that the President of the Mexican United States, Manuel Andrés López Obrador, I'm sorry, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, friends from the Valley of Allende, all the areas, municipalities of this region in the state of Chihuahua. I am very happy to be here with you. In effect, we are actually going through the whole country and visiting. I visited several times. Chihuahua, I've had the pride of visiting all the areas of Chihuahua and municipalities of Mexico, and I will continue this way, visiting the townships and picking up the feelings of the people without a divorce between people and government. Democracy is for the people and for the people and by the people and for the people. And that's why we'll continue to come and visit Chihuahua and all the towns of this extraordinary state, which is full of history and culture, and also it's a state that has given lessons
política,
of politics,
y en especial
and especially
es de los estados
is of the states
precursores
that is a
por
precursor
la democracia.
again with a fight for democracy. That is why it's very important to be here
Acompañado del
and to
gobernador,
be accompanied by the
Luis
governor,
Corral,
Mr. Corral,
tenemos buenas
because we
relaciones,
have good relationship
trabajamos
and we
de
work
manera coordinada,
in a coordinated manner, even though
somos movimientos de partidos
we're from parties
distintos,
that are
diferentes,
different,
inclusive
but
contrapuestos,
even against each
como
other.
estamos ahora
But like we are now,
gobernando,
we are governing.
tenemos que
We
procurar
have to
trabajar
be sure
de
and
manera
work
conjunta.
in a coordinated manner.
Como su nombre lo indica,
Like
es
the
una parte.
a party, like its name indicates, is a part, but the government is for all,
Trabajar juntos
and we have to work
y de
together
manera coordinada.
and
La
in a
patria
coordinated
es
way.
primero. Por
The
eso
people
me da
are
mucho
first,
gusto estar aquí.
and that is why I'm very
En
happy to be
compañía
here in the
del
company
gobernador
of the
de
governor
Chihuahua,
of Chihuahua,
Javier Corral.
Javier
Más
Corral.
que es una gente que respeto
Besides that, he's a person
por
I
su
respect
honestidad.
because of his honesty.
Podemos no estar de acuerdo
We
en
might
la
not be in
origen,
agreement with some
en
things
otras,
on some
cuestiones,
other matters,
pero
but
Javier es
Javier
una gente
is a
honesta.
person that is
Y
honest.
eso
And
para
that,
mí cuenta
for
mucho,
me, counts a lot,
mucho, mucho.
very much,
El que haya honestidad.
that there be honesty.
Porque,
Because,
miren,
look here,
nada ha dañado más
nothing
a
has
Chihuahua.
harmed Chihuahua
Nada ha dañado
more.
más a México
Nothing
que la
has
deshonestidad
caused
de los
more
gobernantes.
trouble than
Eso es lo que
dishonesty
ha
of the
dado
governors.
con todo.
They've destroyed everything. That's the principal cause of inequality of social, economical, insecurity, violence.
Por eso,
And for that
el
reason,
objetivo
the objective,
principal
the principal
del
objective
nuevo gobierno
of the
que
new
encabezo
government that I head
es
is
acabar con la
to
corrupción.
end corruption.
Siempre repito
I
que
always
si me
repeat,
dicen
and if they ask me
que diga en 5 segundos,
to say in 5
yo que ni
seconds
siquiera hablo
what,
corrido,
because I never even really talk fast,
que me tardo mucho
because I take a long
en
time
hablar.
in speaking. For me to say,
En lo que tardo parado en un solo pie,
like
¿cuál
what
es
I,
el plan del nuevo
while I'm
gobierno?
standing on one foot,
Acabar con la
what
corrupción.
is the, what is the plan for the new government? Ending corruption. So he stood on one foot as he said it.
Porque
Because
si limpiamos de corrupción,
if we clean the government of corruption, then we'll get ahead, and it'll be that we will gain the rebirth of Mexico, and we are cleaning it from the top down.
como se limpian las
The way you
escaleras.
clean some
Dando
stairs,
ejemplo.
giving an example on the top.
Si el presidente es
And if
honesto,
the president is
los
honest,
tienen
and
que ser honestos,
and then the workers are
también.
government workers will be also honest. But if the government is the president is corrupt, then the others will be corrupt, and then you won't have a good government. But if we end with corruption from the top down, then we will take our beautiful Mexico, beloved Mexico ahead. That there not be corruption. That is the key. And yes, we are advancing. Look at how important it is to combat corruption. That not only does it moralize the country, but it also betters the image of Mexico with the foreign countries. But besides that, and above all, it is we save money. All that would go through the tubes of corruption can be now destined to development for the well-being of the people. There is no need for that, and that is the purpose, to demonstrate that there is not a need to increase taxes or create new
ni que
taxes,
haya gasolinazo,
nor increase the
puede
prices of
ayudar al país
gas hikes, or
solo con
to help
acabar
the
con
country
la
can
corrupción.
be helped simply by
Puedo
stopping
poner algunos
corruption.
ejemplos porque pueden
I can give you a
pensar
few
de
examples
que
because you might
solo es
think
un asunto
that it's only one
conceptual,
matter,
teórico,
that it's conceptual,
retórico o
theoretical,
demagógico.
rhetorical,
Es decir,
or
vamos a
illogical,
acabar con la corrupción.
like to say that we're going to end
No,
corruption. No,
es que
it is because
hace mucho daño.
it does so much
Y
damage,
es una opción, es una alternativa.
and it's an option, an
El que
alternative,
no se permita la
that
corrupción.
you not permit corruption.
El año pasado,
So last year,
por poner un
I'd
ejemplo,
like to give you an
se
example.
robaban
They used to steal
65 mil millones de pesos al
65
año
thousand million
con las tomas clandestinas.
pesos of gas by the clandestine
65
theft.
mil millones de pesos.
65,000 million pesos, and it meant the theft from the gas from the ducts,
Era un robo tolerado.
and it was a theft that was tolerated because they even had advanced technology,
Podía saber,
and they knew where they were stealing from.
había monitoreo,
They had monitors,
sistema de sensores,
system of sensors,
toda una oficina,
a whole
la torre
office
de Pemex,
in the tower of Pemex with some desks and
cuando
monitors.
bajaba la presión,
And as the pressure would go down from the ducts, that's when when they were stealing, when there was a clandestine theft and they were
y sonaba
draining the gas line. And so an alarm would sound
en este centro de
in this
control.
center, control center of the tower of Pemex. But it could be ringing all day and all
Y
night,
no se hacía nada.
and they would do nothing.
Entonces dijimos, basta,
So we said, enough of
vamos
that.
a acabar con este
We're going
robo.
to end with this theft.
No fue fácil
It was not easy
porque
because
quisieron jugar a las vencidas.
they tried to play
Tuvimos que
what is it
utilizar
when you
al
use your
ejército,
hands to
nos
fight?
ayudaron
And
soldados, marinos,
So we had the army help us, soldiers, and they
toda la
helped us
zona por
to
donde van los
help that
ductos principales.
whole zone where the principal
gente se
ducts were.
portó muy bien.
And the people behaved very well.
Pueblo, que es mucha pieza,
And the people are
porque
a very strong
apostaron a
people
el sabotaje,
because they bet against
explotaban
sabotage, and they exploited
los ductos
the
para que
ducts
nos quedáramos sin gasolina.
so that we would
Hubieron
be
3
left without
semanas
gas.
sin
So for
abastos
3
suficiente de
weeks we
gasolinas
didn't
en
have
la
enough
ciudad.
gas
Pero la gente
internationally,
hizo
but the
colas
people made
y
lines
aguantó,
and
nos
they
apoyó, se
withstood it and
reducir
supported us,
ese
and
robo.
we gained it to end that theft.
no se ha terminado.
But
por
no,
completo,
it has not
pero se
completely
robaban
ended. But they used to
800
steal
pipas diarias.
800 pipes a day,
Ahora se están robando
and now they're stealing
40
40.
todavía.
Still,
Pero
however,
si seguimos así,
if we continue like this,
¿cuánto nos vamos a ahorrar
how
este
much
año?
are we going to save this
Como
year?
50,000 millones de pesos.
About 50
Y ese
thousand
dinero,
million
pues
pesos.
es el que
And that money
se
is that which
está utilizando
is
para
being utilized
atender las demandas
to attend
de
to
la
the
gente.
demands of the people.
Otro
And
ejemplo,
another example,
no pagaban impuestos.
some didn't used to pay taxes. The ones on the very top, the influential people. Think of a company, a famous bank. Well, that company, that bank that you're thinking of did not pay. They were condoning their taxes. A great injustice because the workers, everyone, the doctors, the nurses, the field workers, the commercials, medium, big companies, small companies, well, the small companies, but they had an elite that was select, that had privileged, that did not pay. They forgave them their taxes. So in these 2 6-year terms, they condoned 400,000 million pesos. And so we made a decree to end condoning of taxes. And now they presented an initiative to reform Article 28 of the Constitution, which will be prohibited to condone taxes to great big contributors. It will end that corruption.
Ahora
So now,
también
Also,
Ya es delito grave
it
la
is
corrupción.
now a great crime to have
¿Saben ustedes
corruption.
que durante 25 años
Do you know that for 25
no se
years,
consideraba
it was
delito
not
grave la
considered a
corrupción?
grave crime to have corruption?
Desde
Since
1994
1994,
reformaron
they
el Código
reformed
Penal, no
the
les voy a decir
penal
quién
code, and I'm
gobernaba
not going to say
entonces,
who was
eso
governing
lo
at
tengo
that
de
time.
tarea.
I'll leave that for homework.
Para que
But so that
no se considerara
it would
delito
not be
grave
considered a grave
la
crime
corrupción. De
to
modo
be
que el
corrupt,
que robaba
so that
podía
when the
salir
person that would
bajo fianza.
steal could just go out with a
Ahora,
fine. But
después de
now,
25 años, ya
as
es
of
delito
25
grave la
years,
corrupción.
it is a
Como
grave
es
crime
delito grave,
to
algo
have
que es
corruption.
importante aquí
And what
decirlo.
also is a
Chihuahua,
grave
ya
crime,
es delito
which is
grave el fraude electoral.
also electoral
El
fraud,
que
is a grave
comete
crime.
fraude electoral,
That
el
one
que
that
utilice
utilizes or
dinero del
does
presupuesto
elective
para
crime or
favorecer a un
uses
candidato, a un
the
partido,
the
el que compre votos,
that
va
buys
a la
diet,
cárcel sin derecho a
buys
fianza.
votes or uses any government money for elections will go to jail
ahora,
without fail and
lo
without
mismo.
fine
Está
bail.
reformando
Another
artículo
thing,
19 de la
I was
Constitución para que
reforming
también sea
Article
delito grave
19 so that now it is a grave
la
crime
creación de empresas fantasmas
to create phantom
o la
companies
expedición de facturas
or
falsas.
to make
Todo
phantom
lo que es evasión fiscal.
like
De esta
receipts.
manera,
In this way,
pues vamos a
and they
tener
did this in the last
presupuesto. Repito, sin
years.
necesidad de aumentar
And now we
impuestos,
will have
sin
a
que haya
budget
gasolinazos,
without having
sin
to
endeudar
raise
al país,
prices of
nos va a
gas
rendir
or
el
increase
presupuesto.
taxes. But now we will have enough
Y
with our
vamos
budget.
bien,
And we are doing
no
well.
tenemos déficit,
We have no
es decir, no hay
deficit.
faltantes, no estamos gastando
We are
más
not
de lo que
spending more
ingresa,
than what we make.
pero los ingresos
But the
son
income
suficientes
is enough
para cumplir
in order to
con
comply
nuestros
with our
compromisos
commitments,
de que se apoye
that we support the people of Mexico, that the government supports all and give preference to the people that are humble, the people that are impoverished, for the good of all, first the impoverished.
Estamos ahorrando.
So we are saving.
No hay corrupción.
There is no
También
corruption,
ya no hay
and
lujos
also
en el
there is no
gobierno.
luxuries in the government.
Ya no hay sueldos
There is no
de
high
700,000
salaries
pesos
of
mensuales.
700,000 a
Ya hay una
month.
ley
Now there is a
donde nadie
law
puede ganar más
that
que
says
lo
that
que
no one
obtiene
can
el
earn
presidente de la
than what the
República.
president of the republic
Yo
makes.
me bajé el sueldo a
And I
menos de la
lowered
mitad
my
de lo que ganaba el
salary,
presidente Peña,
so less than half of
sin
what Peña
compensaciones,
used to
108,000
make without
pesos mensuales. De ahí
compensations.
para abajo.
108,000, I believe he said, and then from there down, we're lowering
De los de
the
abajo. Va a haber justicia laboral.
salaries of the upper people, but we're raising the salary of the
Se
lower
está ahorrando porque
class. We're
ya no
saving because
existe
now there doesn't exist
el Estado Mayor
the
Presidencial.
presidential
Otro ejemplo.
state, which was
¿Saben cuánto
the.
cuidaban al presidente?
Do you know how many people used to take care of the
8,000
president?
elementos
8,000
del
units
Estado Mayor
of
Presidencial.
the presidential state.
Ni a Donald Trump
Not even does
lo
Donald
cuidan
Trump
tanta gente.
be taking care of so many people, by so many people, so many
Pues ya
elements.
desapareció
But now
el Estado Mayor
we got
Presidencial.
rid of that,
Ya
disappeared
todos esos elementos
this
están en la Secretaría de Defensa
presidential
de la
state,
Guardia
and now they're in the National Guard to take care of the people, and the people take care of the president. And the one that just fights for justice has nothing to fear.
Pero
But
no solo
not
es
only
cuánto cuidaban al
is it
presidente,
how many were taking
sino
care of the
cuánto
president, but how much are we saving?
Le venía yo platicando a
I
Javier
used to talk to
de
Javier
que,
that
la presidencia
the presidency
ejerció el año pasado
from last year
3,000 millones de pesos.
used 3,000 million pesos, and 2,000 were for operations of the president.
Parte.
No, that was just part of it. 2,000
Por
million.
eso, facturas falsas.
And that's why they made these false
que iban
receipts.
de viaje
They would take a
presidencial,
trip, a presidential trip,
supuestamente
that was
1,000
supposedly,
rastrillos.
let's say, 1,000 razors to shave
Pues de que
themselves.
se rasuraran cada
Like
5 o 10 minutos.
they would have to shave themselves every 5 to 10 minutes.
En un viaje,
And then on one trip,
una factura,
they did a
7
receipt
millones de pesos.
or invoice of 7 million
Internet.
pesos.
Pues solo todo un año, pues 2 años.
I'm not sure
Muchísimo dinero.
if there was just a lot
Entonces,
spent. I'm not sure what he said
3
exactly.
mil millones,
So from
vamos ahora
3,000
a
million,
ejercer cuando
we're
mucho
going to
800.
use about 800,000 at
Presidencia.
most from the
¿Cuánto
presidency.
es el ahorro?
What is the savings?
2,200 millones.
2,200 million.
Y así todo.
And like that, all of it.
Ya está en venta el avión
We're
presidencial.
already selling the
¿Cómo
presidential
llego aquí a
airplane.
Valle de Allende?
How do I get
Pues
here
como
to
he
this
venido
valley?
siempre,
The way I've always come.
carretera.
I take a road.
Ayer
Yesterday,
estuvimos
we were
en
in Coahuila,
Matamoros,
in
San
Matamoros,
Buenaventura.
San Buenaventura,
Llegamos
and we arrived
a Torreón y de ahí
to Torreón,
carretera.
and then we took the road.
Y fuimos a dormir
And then we went to
a Monterrey.
sleep in Monterrey.
Hoy temprano
And today, early,
en viaje de
we took a
línea,
trip in line,
en un
a
vuelo
convoy.
a Chihuahua.
We took a flight to
Estamos
Chihuahua,
aquí con ustedes.
and
¿Cómo
today we're
venimos
here with you.
de
And how did we
Chihuahua para acá?
come from
Pues en
Chihuahua to
carretera.
here? On the
Ya
road.
no hay avión,
There is
ya
no
no hay
airplane,
helicóptero.
there's no
Estamos
helicopter.
vendiendo toda
We're
la
selling
flotilla de
all
aviones,
of that
helicópteros
fleet of
del
helicopters
gobierno.
and airplanes that belong to the government.
Imagínense
Imagine
si llegamos en avión y
that if we
nos
came
vemos
in
en
an
helicóptero,
airplane
¿cuándo nos vamos
and
a
a
dar
helicopter,
cuenta
how would
de
we
cómo
find
están los
out
caminos?
the
¿Cuándo
condition
nos
of the
damos cuenta
roads?
de cómo está
How would we know
realmente
how
el
in
país?
reality the
Y lo
country
que se
is?
ahorra,
And what we
porque ese
saved,
avión iba a
because the
costar,
airplane was
una vez que se
costing
terminara de pagar, porque,
even before it was done
está
being
a
paid,
crédito,
because they've got it on
7
credit,
mil millones de pesos.
7,000 million
Claro, es
pesos.
un avión de
And of
lujo
course it's a luxury
para
airplane
280
for
pasajeros.
280
Ese
passengers.
tampoco lo tiene
That,
Donald Trump.
even that Donald Trump doesn't have one of those.
Y
And
helicópteros
helicopters
y aviones
and
nuevos.
airplanes, new
Sexenio
ones.
pasado,
From the
fueron
last 6-year term,
6 aviones
there was 6
nuevos jets,
new airplanes, jets,
además del
and
presidencial,
besides the presidential
1,000
one,
millones cada uno.
1,000 million
6
each one.
helicópteros nuevos
6
para
helicopters,
el
new
traslado
ones,
de funcionarios.
so that for the
También
for the officials
1,000
to
millones
travel,
cada helicóptero.
1,000
Usaban los
million
helicópteros
each
hasta para ir a
helicopter,
jugar golf.
and they would take these helicopters
Eso
to go
ya
play golf.
Se terminó.
And that has now
Ya
ended.
no vamos
No more
nosotros
will we
a seguir con ese
continue
derroche.
with that
Ya
wastefulness.
también no hay
Of- There is no more private medical
para los
attention
altos funcionarios
for
públicos.
high-functioning
¿Saben
officials.
cuánto se gastaba
Do you know how much they used to
de
spend
presupuesto para dar
on
la
the
atención
budget to
médica
give
privada a los altos
private
funcionarios públicos?
medical
6
attention
mil
to
millones
high-functioning
de pesos al
officials?
año.
6,000 million
Se
a
hacían
year.
hasta cirugía plástica,
They even did
hasta
plastic
se estiraban
surgery, and they would
las
stretch their
costillas del
face
erario.
at the
Todo
expense of the
eso se
people.
terminó
All of that has ended.
y por eso
And for that
tenemos
reason, we have
presupuesto.
a budget.
Por eso ya
And that
estamos
is why
viviendo,
we
ya
are
están
now
llegando a Valle de Allende,
giving
y a todos los
money,
pueblos, los
and all the
apoyos,
people, we're sending the
adultos
money
mayores, ya
for
no
the older
1,160
adults,
pesos como
not
era antes,
1,160, but
2,550
2,550
para todos
for all,
los adultos
for
mayores.
all elderly adults.
Ya están llegando también
They are
las
now
pensiones
getting the
para
pensions
niñas, niños
for
con discapacidad.
children
Se están
that are
entregando las
disabled,
becas
and we're
para
giving grants
estudiantes
for the
de
students,
preescolar, primaria,
preschool,
secundaria, de
primary,
familias
secondary,
de escasos
middle
recursos
school,
económicos, todos los
any
que
of
estudian
those,
preparatoria,
all of those that study
Chihuahua, en el
preparatory, and
ya tienen
all the country
derecho
has
a su beca,
already
ya la
has
están
rights
recibiendo.
and are receiving their grants.
3,500,000
3,500,000 in preparatory school,
1,600 pesos
1,600 bimenstrual. That's universal.
Los estudiantes
And the
de nivel
students
superior,
of
de
higher
familias de
level
escasos recursos
education of
económicos,
low-income families,
2,400
2,400
mensuales,
monthly,
300,000.
300,000
Y los que no
people.
están estudiando y
And
no
those that are
tienen
not
empleo,
studying and don't have
se
jobs,
les está contratando.
we're giving them contracts.
Ya casi
Now we
llegamos a
almost have
900,000
about
jóvenes
900,000
contratados. El programa
youth that are
se llama
contracted
Jóvenes
in
Construyendo el Futuro.
this program
Se les da
that's
trabajo
youth creating a
para
future.
que
They're giving jobs
aprendan,
so that they can
sean
learn,
capacitados
so they
en
can be
talleres, en
capacitated
empresas.
to work in
Lo que queremos es que todos los jóvenes
any
tengan
kind of job,
garantizado
so that all the youth have a job, to either a right to study or work, or both. It's 1,000 to 1,000,000 better than to have the youth having the children working or studying than to be on the streets. And we'll never again turn our backs on our youth. Why are we going to rip our clothing and say, oh, how sad, how much insecurity there is? And what do? And really, to prevent insecurity, what did they do? Nothing. What they did with the youth was to call them and make fun of them and say, neither do they study nor do they work. And now we're giving a special attention to the youth because we don't want them to be caught up, to get taken up, and to become part of the gangs. That the jails are full with youth and they lose their lives, mostly the youth. I saw a sad thing that's lamentable in Quetzalcoatlus, Veracruz, where there was in a boat and who was putting the fire, putting the gas for the fire was a 15-year-old youth. And that's why we need to give attention to the youth. And that's why it made me very happy to be here with the youth in the Cara. This is a program that all the hospitals have, and AMS Bienestar Cara, which deals with 4 important matters. Violence, no to addictions, and to prevent falling into obesity. That is to say, to eat well and not to consume junk food. So that's what the youth are doing, and give a hand of applause to them. I missed the first one, you guys, but it's something to do with drugs, I believe. And it's very important to work with the youth a lot. And also, we are now supporting the fields. They won't have a lack of resources for the producers, water, or small people with small ranches. And now we have fixed the prices for the they will be bought during the they will be buying the grain at a guaranteed price of 5,600 pesos a ton. So they will buy from all the warehouses. And they also fixed the beans to 14,500 a ton. And for wheat, for flour, 7,690, and for rice, 6,120, and for milk producers, 8 pesos are a liter. And so they will continue to get the help that they will get from Procampo, and also a guaranteed price. So we will pay them well to these producers, so they can be compensated for their work. And we're starting at first by buying from the producers that have less than 20 hectares. That is to say, the small producers. And we will be amplifying it to 30. Pretty soon I will be an announcement for the people with beans to raise it up to 30 hectares. And we will buy from them as well for them. And then after that for everyone, because the most important thing is that we become self-sufficient in food, and we not be buying from foreign places what we consume. Imagine the paradox. So Mexico is the producer of corn, and it is originated from Mexico, that holy plant that grows everywhere, in the mountains, in the valleys, in the coasts, in the tropics, everywhere. And
Ahora,
now
México es el país del
Mexico
mundo que más,
is the place in the world that buys the most from foreign places,
siendo el maíz
being
originario de
that
México.
it
Y
originated
compramos
here.
el frijol,
And we buy the beans
este trigo
and
para el
this
pan,
corn for bread.
El 80% se
80%
compra
is bought
en el extranjero, de lo
from
que
foreign
consumimos.
places of what we
80%.
consume. 80%.
El arroz,
And rice,
compramos el
we buy
90%.
90%.
Compramos la
And
leche,
we buy the milk.
compramos carne de
And
cerdo,
we buy meat, pork
carne de
meat,
res, en fin,
and beef.
necesitamos
And so we
ser
need to be
autosuficientes y por eso
self-sufficient because of
estos
this.
apoyos.
And that's why we're giving you
Vamos
these
a seguir,
supports. And we are going to
llevando a
continue
cabo
to
estas
take
acciones.
into effect these actions,
Vamos a
and we
mejorar
are going to
el
better
sistema
the
de
system
educación
of
pública.
education, public
Ya
education,
hicimos,
and we've already
una parte,
done part of it,
consideramos y
and we
respetamos a
consider
quienes
and
piensan
respect
distinto,
those
pero
that think
nosotros
differently, but we
desde el
believe
principio
from the very
sostuvimos
beginning,
que la llamada
and we
reforma
sustain that
educativa
the
no
reform,
era
education reform was
buena,
not good.
no beneficiaba,
It didn't benefit.
que tenía que ver más
It
con
had
la
to do
cuestión
more with the
política o
question of
ideológica,
politics and
Es un plan
ideological. It was a
que,
plan
nos
that
impusieron desde el
it was
extranjero,
imposed on us
las
from
llamadas
foreign
reformas
places,
estructurales,
these structural reforms,
reforma energética,
reform,
reforma
energy
fiscal,
reform,
reforma hacendaria,
from
reforma
Hacienda,
laboral,
labor,
reforma educativa.
education
Una agenda
reform. It was an agenda
impuesta
that was imposed
a
upon
México.
us onto Mexico
sin ton ni son,
without rhyme or
porque no
reason,
puede ser
because how can
una
it be
verdadera reforma
a
educativa
true
la que se
reform
quiera llevar a
that
cabo
they
o se
want to
quiera,
take
poner
into
en práctica
plan or
en
practice
contra de los maestros?
against the teachers?
¿Quién es el que enseña en el
Who
aula?
teaches?
La maestra, el maestro.
It's the
¿Cómo
teachers.
se va a imponer
How are
algo
you going to impose something
sin la voluntad de
without
los maestros?
the
Entonces, por eso se canceló.
teachers? And
Y
that's why we
ahora
canceled
vamos
it.
con el
And now
apoyo
we're
de
going to
maestras,
start
maestros,
the
padres de
teachers,
familias,
parents,
autoridades, a
authorities,
mejorar
to
la
better
calidad
it, to
de
make
la
it
educación.
real,
Pero lo
this
vamos a hacer
correction in
llegando a un
education.
acuerdo,
And we're going to come
sin
to an agreement
confrontación,
without confrontations,
convenciendo, no
convincing,
imponiéndonos
not imposing
en
ourselves,
nada, decía el presidente
not in
Juárez.
anything, as
Nada
President
por la
Juarez used to
fuerza,
say. Nothing by
todo
force,
por la razón y
all
el
with
derecho.
reason and with
Así
correctness.
vamos a actuar.
And that's how we're
Aquí en
going to behave.
Chihuahua,
And here in
vamos a
Chihuahua,
poner de acuerdo con
we're
Javier,
going to get and
porque
come to an agreement with
vamos a
Javier,
llevar a cabo
and we're going to
un
take
programa de
into effect a
rehabilitación
plan of
de
rehabilitation
escuelas.
of schools.
Vamos a entregar el
And we're
presupuesto
going to
de
give the
manera
budget
directa
directly
a la sociedad de
to the
padres de familia
societies
de cada
of the, each school
¿Para qué?
is going to have their parent teachers in
Se hagan
charge,
cargo
so that they can take
del
charge
mantenimiento
of the maintenance
de las escuelas.
of the schools.
Y
And,
decirles que
and to tell you
vengo a Valle de Allende,
that I came to
pues,
Valle
ya después de toda
Allende
esta introducción,
after this whole introduction.
entro en materia
I enter into the matter.
a
I come
visitar el
to
hospital
visit the hospital
y a verles a ustedes
and to
para
see you all,
comentarles
to
que vamos
comment
a mejorar
that we
el
are going
sistema
to
de
better
salud
the system of
pública
health,
en todo el
public
país.
health, in all the country.
Por eso
And that is why
estoy haciendo esta gira,
I am doing this
acompañado del
run,
secretario de Salud, del director
and
del
I'm
Seguro, del
accompanied
director
by
del
the
ISSSTE,
health
y de
and
todos los servidores
all
públicos
these
del
public
sector
servants
salud.
that have to do with the public
Estamos visitando
sector, and we're
los
visiting
80
the
hospitales del
80
programa
hospitals
IMSS
of the
Bienestar.
programs
Ya
of
con
IMSS
Valle de
Bienestar,
Allende
and then Valle
son
Allende.
64
We've done
los
64
visitados.
that we have visited,
Ya vamos
and so
avanzando.
we're advancing.
Ya falta menos
We have less
y
to go,
vamos a fortalecer
and we're going to
todo el
strengthen
sistema de
the
salud
whole
pública.
health system,
Como
public
mencionó
health
aquí
system,
el director
like
del
the director
hospital, el
of the
paisano de
hospital, your
eh,
countryman,
que
that
se confundió y
that he got confused,
qué bueno que
and it's
Eh,
good that
entró al
he
sistema
entered into the
IMSS
system of IMSS,
y
Bienestar,
no al otro programa,
and not
con
the
todo
other
respeto.
program, with all respect.
Este programa
This program
es extraordinario.
is extraordinary.
lo acabo de decir ahora.
I've said it a
Estuvimos con
while
jóvenes
ago
del Ghana y vamos a exhibir
with the
ese
children of Gada,
video,
and we'll be
a
seeing
las
a
redes.
video.
Lo conozco este programa
I know
desde
this
que
program
inició,
since it was
hace 40
initiated
años,
about 40 years
1979.
ago, in
Porque cuando
1979.
empezó este programa,
Because when this
yo
program
era director
began,
del Instituto
I
Nacional
was
Indigenista en
director
Tabasco,
of the Indigent
Estado Natal. Y era yo delegado
Institute
del
in
Coplamar.
Tabasco and Coplamar
Tuve 6 años,
delegate.
desde
And I was 6 years
1967 a
from 67 to
1982, en
82
la zona
in the zone
Maya Chontal.
Maya Chontal.
Y aprendí a
And I
trabajar
learned how to
con
work
los pobres, para
with the
los pobres.
people and for the
6 años en
poor people.
comunidades indígenas.
6 years in indigenous communities.
En ese entonces
And at that
inició
time,
este
it
programa,
initiated this
la
program,
creación de las unidades
the
médicas
creation of
rurales y los
rural
hospitales.
hospitals and
Y ha
medical
venido,
units. And it's been
evolucionando, cambiando de
evolving,
nombre.
devolving,
Primero fue IMSS
changing names.
Coplamar,
First it was
luego
IMSS
IMSS
Coplamar,
Solidaridad,
then IMSS
luego
Solidarity,
IMSS
and then IMSS
Progresa, IMSS
Progresa,
Oportunidades, y ahora
and then
bueno,
Oportunidades,
y Prospera, y ahora
and now
IMSS Bienestar.
Prospera, and now IMSS
Pero
Bienestar.
es el mismo programa.
But it's the same program,
Y qué bueno
and it's
que
very
se
good
mantuvo
that it was
este
maintained,
programa. Vamos
this
a
program,
fortalecerlo.
and we're going to
Son 4
strengthen it.
acciones
There's 4 actions,
general para
general
todo el sector
ones.
salud.
For the
Primero,
public sector
procurar que no
first,
falten las
we
medicinas,
have to make sure there's no
centros de salud,
need,
unidades
shortage of
médicas,
medications
hospitales,
for the hospitals,
todas las claves,
for all
todas
areas,
las medicinas.
all medications.
Nada de que una unidad
Not
médica,
one will
120
get
claves,
less
aquí 300,
and others will get,
en el
one will
hospital
get 120, one will
del
get
régimen ordinario
300,
600,
and some of
en un
them
hospital de
600,
tercer nivel,
and then
hasta
third
1000,
level,
1200.
maybe
No,
a
todas las
1,200.
medicinas que se
No,
requieran.
all medications that are
Si llega un
required.
paciente
If a patient comes here
que tiene un problema
that has a problem
cardíaco, que le
of,
dio un infarto,
say maybe had a stroke or heart
se tenga el
attack,
equipo y la
so you will
medicina
have the equipment and the
para que
medication
alcance a llegar
so that he'll be able to make it
a Chihuahua.
to Chihuahua.
Porque si no se tiene
Because if you don't
el
have
equipo,
it,
no se tiene la
the
medicina,
equipment
no
and the
llega.
medicine, then he won't make it.
Entonces necesitamos
So we
que
need
no falten los
that there not be
medicamentos.
a
Eso es
shortage
lo
of
primero.
medications. That's number
Y
1.
aquí, les decía yo, me
And
acompañan los
I said
responsables.
here for the responsible
Están
parties,
Aquí con
here it is,
nosotros
he's there with us,
Juan Antonio Ferrer Aguilar, que es
Juan
el
Antonio
titular del
Ferrer
Instituto Nacional de
Aguilar.
Salud para el
He's in
Bienestar.
charge of health and well-being.
Ya conocen a la
And you already
doctora
know
Gisela, ¿verdad?
Dr. Isela.
Y los encargados
And those in
de que
charge,
no falten
that there not be a shortage
los medicamentos.
of the
En este caso,
medications. In this
el
case,
doctor Alejandro
it's
Calderón
Dr.
Alí,
Alejandro
está aquí. Él se va a hacer
Calderón.
cargo de eso.
He will be in charge of that. So he makes people
Lo
accountable.
segundo,
The second
que no
thing is
falten
that there
enfermeras,
not be a
médicos,
shortage of nurses and doctors,
especialistas,
specialists,
porque hay
because
vacantes.
there's vacancies.
Tenemos ese problema.
We do have that problem.
Pusieron tantos
They put
obstáculos
so many
a
obstacles
los jóvenes que querían
to the
estudiar
youths that
medicina,
wanted to study
todos los que
medicine
querían estudiar,
and all those that wanted to study in
y
general.
mintieron diciendo
And they
de
lied,
que no
saying
pasaban el examen
that
de
they
admisión,
couldn't pass the
rechazaban,
exam
y
and they would
rechazaban, y rechazaban
deny
los
them
jóvenes.
to all these students. And now
No tenemos los
we
médicos,
don't have the
ni
doctors
los especialistas
nor
que
the
requiere el
specialists
país.
that are required by the
Fíjense
country.
el daño que causó.
Imagine the damage that they caused.
Entonces,
So
tenemos que
we
resolver
have to resolve
esto, que no falten
this,
médicos,
that there not be a
enfermeras,
shortage of nurses and
especialistas.
doctors and
Y para
specialists.
eso, el
And for
doctor
this, the doctor,
Alejandro
Alejandro
es el
Isparsnik,
encargado.
is in charge
Él
of
es el
it.
que
He is the one
va a estar pendiente.
that will be in charge of that and pending that.
Lo tercero
And the
es
third thing
mejorar
is to
la
better
infraestructura.
the
Yo
infrastructure.
aquí quiero
What I
felicitar
want to
a los de
praise
mantenimiento
those in
de
maintenance
este hospital.
of this hospital.
Es el segundo
That's the second thing.
mejor de los 64 que he
It's the
visitado.
best, the second place of all the ones I've visited out of the 64. It's the best
Porque tiene
second place
39 años.
because it's been in
Miren,
action 39 years.
Está
and it is
bien mantenido
very well
este
maintained,
hospital.
this
Se
hospital,
debe al trabajo
and it is
de
due to the
estos,
work of these
servidores públicos.
public servants.
Ayer estuve en
And
uno,
yesterday I was in one
en San Buenaventura,
in San
nada
Buenaventura,
más que Coahuila.
in
Ya
Coahuila,
visitamos dos,
and we visited two yesterday,
Matamoros
Matamoros
y San Buenaventura,
and San Buenaventura,
Coahuila.
Coahuila.
De San Buenaventura, Coahuila,
And so
están
from there,
derrumbando
they're falling apart,
el techo.
the ceiling.
Ya está
And
para
it
visitar
is,
esa área,
if you have to visit that area, you have to wear a hard hat because
Entonces, tenemos que mejorar
so we
toda la
have to
infraestructura.
better the whole
Y aquí,
infrastructure.
Abro un paréntesis
And here I open a
para,
parenthesis to
comentarles
say
que
and make a
uno
comment
de esos,
that one of those
viajecitas a
trips
Chihuahua,
to Chihuahua
estuve
that
con
I
el
was
gobernador,
with the
me
governor,
llevó a Ciudad Juárez a
I
ver
went
un
to
hospital
Ciudad
que
Juárez
se
to see a
atrevieron a
hospital
inaugurar
that they
sin
inaugurated
estar terminado.
without
Ciudad
finishing it
Juárez
in city of
hicieron un
Juárez.
gran fraude
They did a
con
great
esa
fraud
construcción.
with that construction,
Bueno, para consuelo, no es el
but
único.
to console
O
us,
sea,
it's not the only one.
Así nos dejaron
That's how
más
they
de
left
300
more than
en
300
todo el país.
in our whole
Pero
country.
ese es de
But
los,
that one,
más
it's
escandalosos,
one of the most scandalous
porque
because
hicieron la fachada,
they made it look
nada más
like on
como
the front,
escenografía,
like
como
the
la película
scene,
de Calzón sin inspector.
like the movie
Ahí se las
Underwear
recomiendo.
Without an Inspector. And I'll
Okay.
leave that for you to
Y
think about.
cortaron el listón, lo
And they
inauguraron.
cut the ribbon and
Y
they
atrás,
inaugurated it, and behind it,
obra negra,
it was all black, nothing,
inconcluso. Bueno,
inconclusive.
ese hospital lo
And
vamos a
that
terminar
hospital,
ya,
we're
hemos
going to
llegado a
finish
un
it.
acuerdo
We've
con el
already come to an
gobernador
agreement with
para
the
que
governor so that
se concluya
they can conclude it
en Ciudad Juárez.
in the city of Juárez.
Y vamos a mejorar
And we're going to
todas
better
las instalaciones.
all the
El
installations
seguro del
of
ISSSTE me está
security and
informando
ISTE.
también el director del ISSSTE
And the
que
director of
estamos por
ISTE is
terminar
letting us know that we're about to finish
una sustitución de
a
hospital.
substitution of
¿Qué
hospital.
porcentaje llevamos de avance?
And what percentage?
80%. Ya voy a venir a
80%.
inaugurar.
And
Ya,
I will come and
a ver,
inaugurate
lo más
it
pronto posible.
as soon as possible.
Todo lo que es infraestructura.
All that
Y
which
para
is
eso,
infrastructure,
el responsable
and for
es
that,
el arquitecto Carlos
the
Sánchez Meneses, que
responsible
está aquí
person
con
is
nosotros.
architect Carlos Menendez.
Y
And
la otra acción son
the other
4,
action, which is number 4,
medicinas, médicos,
medications,
infraestructura y
structure,
basificación
nurses,
de los
and-
trabajadores
and
del
making
sector salud.
them full-time employees, making base employees,
No solo del
not
seguro,
only from
también
security,
de la Secretaría
but
de Salud.
also
Son
the
más de
secretary,
80,000 en el país, que
80,000
están
in the country
trabajando como
that are now
eventuales
working
por
as
contrato. Los vamos a basificar.
like
Vamos a ir poco a poco. En este
they're
sexenio,
not they're
este
contracted
responsabilidad
workers
técnico
like
van a quedar pacificados
I can't
todos
think of the
los
word.
trabajadores de salud.
but it's like they have a temporary
Esto es
contract.
lo que yo quería
So this is what I wanted to
decirles
inform
que,
you,
estamos,
that we
pues,
are
muy a gusto de estar acá
very
con
happy to be
ustedes.
here with
Nos
you,
vamos a seguir
and
encontrando,
we're
ya
going to
lo
continue
dije.
to meet you, as I
Yo
said,
no me hallo,
and I can't
si se
find myself
habla en mi tierra,
as they speak in
no
my
me hallo.
place.
Yo
I
no me
can't
hallo allá en la Ciudad de México,
I
en el
can't
Palacio
be
Nacional.
comfortable
Tengo que andar
in
en
National
los pueblos.
Palace. I have to be
Estoy
out with the
allá
people. When
de
I'm over
lunes
there,
a viernes,
from Monday to Friday,
y eso no siempre, pero
but not always, but
estoy porque
I am there because
se le da atención especial
I give
al
special
problema de la
attention
violencia.
to the
De
problem
6 a
of
7 de la mañana tengo
insecurity and violence.
desacuerdos
Every day from
con
6
todo
to
el
7,
gabinete de seguridad.
I meet with a cabinet of security, defense, marine,
Secretaria
secretary
de
of
Gobernación,
governing,
Secretaria de Seguridad Pública.
secretary of
Nosotros
public security.
recibimos todos
So
los
we
días,
receive
desde las
every
6 de la
day
mañana,
at 6 in the
el
morning
reporte de todo
the
lo que
report
sucede
from what's
en el
happening
país
in the
y
whole
tomamos
country,
decisiones.
and we make decisions.
Pero,
But
estoy en la capital,
I am in the
y los
capital.
fines de semana,
On the weekend,
me dedico
I-
a recorrer
I
el país.
travel through the
Modo
country.
que voy a
So today,
seguirles visitando,
I'm going
vamos a
to
seguir
continue
encontrando,
visiting you, and we'll continue to see each other. And we ask that you help all of us,
nos
help
apoyen
and
a
support us
gobernar,
to
que
govern,
gobernemos
so that
todos,
we can all govern,
porque bajo el
because
símil de que nos dejaron
the mess
un
that they left
elefante,
us was,
así considero que era el
I,
gobierno,
I think it
un
was the
elefante
government that left
hinchado,
us an elephant that was laden down,
reumático
that's got
y
rheumatoid
mañoso.
arthritis, and he's got bad habits. Imagine, besides it's big,
Un cuerpo de avance lento.
it's
Imagínense
a body
parar
that advances very slowly. Imagine to lift it up and start to push it so that it'll work,
porque así es.
so it'll walk. And that's how it is.
No estaba
It's
hecho
very
el
difficult.
gobierno
The government
para
was not
servir
made
al pueblo, estaba
to
hecho
help the
para
people.
facilitar el
It was
saqueo,
made to facilitate
corrupción.
the robbery and
Les
corruption.
importaban los negocios,
They
no
cared
les
about
importaba
businesses.
el pueblo, no les
They did
importaba
not
la
care
gente.
about the people or
Entonces
the
estamos parando
towns.
el elefante, lo
So
estamos
we're
empujando,
standing up that
van a
elephant and
ayudar
we're pushing him.
a
Are
empujar
you
el
going to
elefante.
help us push that elephant?
Eso es todo.
Yes, that's
Eso
all.
es todo.
That
Vamos
is
todos
all.
a sacar adelante
So let's all go
nuestro
get
querido
together
México,
and
a
push
Chihuahua.
our beautiful Mexico, Chihuahua.
Que viva Valle de Allende.
Long live Valle of
Que viva
Allende.
Chihuahua.
Long live Chihuahua.
Viva México.
Long live
Viva
Mexico.
México.
Long live
Viva
Mexico.
México.
Long live Mexico. And that's his. So the people really love him, you guys. It's pretty impressive. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you today. For those of you that don't speak Spanish, it's just a very beautiful thing what's happening in Mexico, that they're really helping the people. And today he talked about what they're doing in these areas of Chihuahua. The medical, visiting all the hospitals, and this is, I think he said 62 or 64. So he says that they're like number 2 in terms of their condition of the hospital, that they've been very well maintained there, which it's been, he says, standing for 39 years. And he also mentioned some that were, fakes. There was one that had cut its ceremonial ribbon, and actually it was not finished. It just had a false front. And since he actually goes there in person, he got to see that it was not finished. But he's going to go ahead and help them get the funds to finish it. But it's just wonderful how much they're helping. And as a nurse, I can appreciate how there was so many volunteers that have been doing this job really without pay, because the way the government was working, there was a lot of people were not getting paid. They were not being hired full time. And I was trying to recall the word registry. They were like registry employees, most of them. They couldn't get a full-time job, so nobody was really making a good living. So he's going to make people full-time employees of the hospitals. Another thing which he didn't mention today, but he's mentioned at other times when I've translated, that he's going to be oh, I lost it. Let's see. Well, there goes my brain. It took off on me. But anyway, there's quite a few things going on in Mexico, but this is one of them, is that they're really helping the people. And he mentioned all the programs that are now being used to benefit the people, and the finances that are going out to the people, the education, the funds for the elderly and the disabled, and the programs for school, grants for the students, just a lot of stuff. So the people are very happy, because he's actually taking care and visiting all the different areas on the weekends. So He said at one time that he feels like he's going to make 2 terms out of one, but I think it's going to be more like 3 because he works weekends. Or if it not 3 terms, which is each term is 6 years, so he should be at around 17 years actually in the 6 years if all goes well. But anyway, I'm just very impressed with the way they're helping the people in Mexico. And as I've said before, I'm not politically inclined, and for me, it's not about politics. It's about helping the people and letting the people know what's available to them. And also, the other thing is that I want to let the American people know what's possible when a government official that is in charge of the people's well-being really cares and is really doing something to help the people. And let's see if anything like that is possible for the U.S. I know a lot of other countries like Peru, Spain, the Belgic. A lot of people are hopeful to have a president like AMLO. And I know a lot of people aren't paying attention, and the news does obscure it. So I figured YouTube, that's a way to show it. So here it is. Hope you take advantage and learn. Be an educated people. Bye.